What is going on, everyone? My name is Boit, and I'm back with some more Age of Mythology. The Titans action spawning in the blue color, playing as Odin. His name is Soup. His opponent today in the red color, playing as Odin as well. His name is Mr. Boat. Mr. I was going to say Mr. Boat the Wise, Mr. Boat the Great, Mr. Boat the Unstoppable, but I just couldn't get it quite out. This is going to be an interesting one. Mr. Boat, Mr. Moat, yes. This is going to be an interesting one here. Why? Well, the build orders have already deviated in this game. Soup has started with the dwarf. He's delayed the hunting dogs. He's not even on the hunt yet. So this is a game, I'm gonna do something very selfish here, ladies and gentlemen. When we see the age up start, we're gonna be checking the post game. This is something I've been interested in, and I was like, I actually talked to some of the top players about it. I'm like, exactly how many resources does this new build get you as Odin? How many resources? And this is a perfect opportunity to check it out, because Mr. Boat here, he is doing what looks to me to be a relatively standard build, though he's getting dwarves out. I would say maybe the dwarves are a little bit late here for Mr. Boat, so this might not be the most fair of comparisons, but the general consensus here has to be that, well, Soup is doing the build, Mr. Boat is not doing the build, so it's going to be interesting to see exactly what the differences are here. You can see that Mr. Boat actually hits 9 villages first, so he's actually getting a little bit more resources earlier than Soup, but Soup has got out the dwarves first. He's actually already got 2 dwarves compared to the 1 dwarf of Mr. Boat, which means he is gathering gold slightly faster. Now, whether that means he's actually got 3 dwarves here before Mr. Boat's even got 2 dwarves, which is a big bonus in terms of gold income. So we'll have to wait and see. We do see that Soup is wanting to chuck that temple up in the center of the map. This is Frozen Waste. Frozen Waste is one of those more static spawning hunt maps, and this is something that maybe not is an issue in Age of Mythology, and something we might want to be thinking about, talking about. And it's potentially why some of these maps become a little bit more stale, is the static food spawn nature of the thing. And what does that mean? Well, on some maps, you always get a certain spawn. So for example, on Oasis, you always get zebra, you always get giraffe. On Frozen Wastes, you always get walrus, and you always get at least 1 pack of caribou, if not 2 packs of caribou. Those are the kind of variations. So there's always going to be walrus in the front of the map, in the middle of the map, which means you know to put this stuff down. Okay, so we see the advance time here from Soup considerably faster than Mr. Boat here. We're about to check that post game for me to be a little bit greedy here. We do see it's 15 villager advance time here for Mr. Boat. So we'll hit the post game, and we're just going to have a check here on the resource count. Soup is at 2,060 resources, whereas Mr. Boat is at 2,030. So after all is said and done, Soup is in front on resources, in front on advance time. And yeah, that's technically speaking here. Mr. Boat should have more resources than Soup. That's not what's happening. We see the units coming through. It's about a 16-second advance time advantage for Soup in this game as well, as the units are going to be duking it out here in this position. We do see Herser coming out. There's a slight advantage here for Soup at this point. As he's advanced to the second age, we do see the units are out on this position. The Longhouse coming through. Freya was the god of choice, by the way, for Mr. Boat. So this could be an absolute nightmare for Mr. Boat in this game. So we do see the units having to retreat back. There is the Valkyrie coming through. One of the most important things with this Valkyrie is to be harassing the enemy hunt villagers that are over here. You can see them moving on to this hunt right now. If he can send that Valkyrie through, not lose it, he's going to be in a very, very nice position. So Herso is doing some very, very interesting micro. They gets one little whack on the Valkyrie before retreating away. At this point, it's still 35 population apiece here, basically, but Soup's got a couple of houses down as the longhouse does get up here for Mr. Boat. The unit's going to be coming over onto this position to harass the villagers as they have to retreat back. This is a huge advantage right now for Soup, given that he's hunting and Mr. Boat is having to run away as the unit's coming forward here. It might be not a bad idea to actually utilize those villagers here to actually shank back, as we do see the Valkyrie on this position here. There is access to Forest Fire if he wants to utilize that, but Soup's in a defensive position there with his Herso as the unit's getting out of position here for Mr. Boat as some damage coming through onto these Odin units. As Mr. Boat has to pull back. Mr. Boat going to be kicking himself for having to move forward here in this game as that tower does get taken down. He's trying to get the Undermine onto the house, but the house does get completed there. As all the buildings are up right now for Mr. Boat, and that's not the most value of Undermines I've ever seen in a Heimdall rush. Mr. Boat's going to be very, very happy about this. He's also got access to the... He's also got access to the Forest Fire, which he can utilize at any point here. As the Valkyrie is back in the army here for the time being. As the Herso has left this position, we might see Mr. Boat wanting to attack that yet again. As the villagers finish up on the hunt, they will have to start moving forward. Moving over onto these walrus here would not be a bad idea given the positioning of Soup's army. It's very, very equal here at this point, but Soup's got a handful more units than Mr. Boat does. Literally 2 more units as he's going to be starting to hit the houses, and this is where things get a little bit difficult for the defender. Is if you don't fight, your opponent is going to just take out your poorly positioned buildings here. As we do see some nice trades happening right now for Soup. He's getting a couple of kills here as Mr. Boat has to retreat back. More houses coming up as the houses going down on the front here. Soup is not going to be giving any sort of breathing room here in this game as another house goes down, forcing Mr. Boat into bad positions here. He's sitting at 64 population. Soup's still pushing forward here in this game, as well as the temple is getting taken down. As the Einherjar does manage to finish this one up. Frostfire getting dropped on the back of the army there as the units have to pull forward ever so slightly. That Forest Fire is still getting some damage done on the back line of those units there. Nice play here from Mr. Boat to attempt to take this fight, but it looks like the Einherjar is too strong on this one here, given the support into the units here for Soup. Mr. Boat here loses all of his units there as the army of Soup somehow, some way manages to absolutely clean the army of Mr. Boat there. Soup too strong in that fight. Mr. Boat hit that trigger too early. More houses going to be going down. The units over here still eating the hunt on that position here as Mr. Boat here, it looks to me like he had a whole bunch of units out of position in that fight as well. As they're coming back over here, more longhouses getting thrown down, the houses getting taken out. Soup is looking to maybe even start taking out the town center. 2 Einherjar are out here. Units getting taken out underneath the town center fire here. There is a really nice way to defend against this kind of pressure. All you do is you just grab all of your military units and you jump into your town center. It's a way in which your town center is going to be able to do bonus damage. Right now, it's only doing 12 damage per second. You times that by 2 because the arrows do shoot 2 arrows out. If you garrison or you're throwing axemen in here, every throw an axemen is increasing that damage by about 10%, I believe. So you can definitely boost the amount of defensive efficiency you can do here by simply garrisoning into your town center. Obviously, you do more damage by popping out of the town center, and the units each doing 4.5 damage is a lot better. But we are seeing that Soup, he is not happy here. He is wanting to continue putting the pressure on into this position here. And Mr. Boat is in a very, very difficult position after all is said and done. The Throw an Axeman here trying to defend on this position. The town center here is trying to target down the right units, but it's just such a crazy population advantage here for Soup as he is continuing to take down the town center. He's continuing to be able to take down the reinforcements popping out of these 2 longhouses here. Mr. Boat here, he's not pulled the villagers off of the resources just yet, but maybe it's too little, too late here as well. As the Einherjar, look at how much much he takes on this location. He's still at 23 HP remaining, and in that position here, in that timing, Mr. Boat does decide to tap out as Soup makes this Heimdall rush look incredibly strong. Ladies and gentlemen, this is absolutely brutal from Soup. Mr. Boat made a mistake here. It wasn't build order mistake. It wasn't Freya mistake. The mistake Mr. Boat made was he didn't finish his hunt in his main base. He didn't finish his hunt. He walked up to this hunt here, and while you might say it's not that big of a deal walking to here to here, it would have been a roughly, I would guess it's about this much distance, a screen's length distance. It can't be that much of a deal to walk a screen length distance to your second hunt. But what that ends up doing is, one, it means your opponent can harass you early. Two, it means you do indeed lose out on resources that your opponent has already gathered. So where Soup doesn't move to his second hunt, Mr. Boat does. That is, with 7 villagers moving up to that position, you're looking at around about, I would have to say around about 70, at least 70 resources early game by making that villager movement before you finish up on the hunt in terms of resource differential between what Soup has and Mr. Boat has. 70 resources might not seem like much, but it does indeed contribute to that early game being more valuable for Soup than it is for Mr. Boat. So much so that you can actually go back and see it. Mr. Boat was at 35 population of 35 population. Soup was at 35 or 36 population of 55 population, meaning he had 2 more houses up than Mr. Boat had. And that does translate into that decision that Mr. Boat made to move to his secondary hunt before he finished all of his hunt in his main base, whereas Soup did the alternative. That's why it's important to finish everything before moving, especially in that mirror matchup. The smallest details matter so much in these mirror matchups. If you guys enjoyed this game, please consider hitting the follow on the Twitch. If you're on the YouTube, hit that subscribe button, and I will see you guys in the next game.